Hi, I'm Dr. Ray Crawford, and I am standing in front of our new prayer wall here at First Methodist Church in Claremore, Oklahoma, where I have served as the senior pastor for the last 26 years. And I am excited about the possibilities of serving again as a delegate to General Conference for the Global Methodist Church. It was my honor to get to go to uh, uh, Costa Rica last year and serve as one of your delegates from the Heartland. And that was a real joy to gather with delegates from all over the world to praise and worship God. We had such a beautiful spirit and experience in the sanctuary and the worship and the singing. And we got some business done as well. And, we're really building culture right now in not only the Heartland Conference, but in the Global Methodist Church. And that culture is very, very important. It's probably going to be with us a long time. So I feel like we've got this window where we can build the kind of culture that we want in our new movement, in our new denomination we call the Global Methodist Church. And I'm excited about that. A culture that focuses on Christ as Lord, a culture that focuses on the kingdom of God and not just our own smaller issues. Though details do have to be solved, worked out, and problems have to be solved, and we've still got some details to work out. And if it's the will of the conference, I'd be honored to go and serve again in that capacity. Also, again, I was able to serve at our first convening conference in San Jose, Costa Rica last year, and that was a great joy to get in really on the ground floor of this new movement. I have served in some general conferences in my former denomination, the United Methodist Church, in the past as well. But I'm really excited to go and represent the Heartland. I love being a part of what God is doing around the world, right? That's one of the reasons in this congregation I serve, chose to be Global Methodist. We recognize that God's love and what God is doing, doesn't end at our county borders kind of thing. God's much bigger than that, and we want to be a part of something much bigger than that. On the other hand, I'm from the Heartland Conference, and I want to make sure that the Heartland Conference and the concerns we have here are not forgotten or lost. And I think we can. I think we can do that. I think I and the other delegates, or whoever you send, will do a good job in both appreciating the global nature of our church, while also making sure that the concerns of the Heartland Conference are not overlooked or forgotten. I am really excited about the global church and about the growth of the church in places other than the U.S. and certainly other than the Heartland Conference. That's really exciting to be in ministry and in mission with people from around the world, fellow Methodists and people with, Wesleyan theology. And anyway, it's good that we have a voice at the table at God's global church. In the same way, again, the Heartland should have a voice at the table of the Global Methodist Church at these wonderful conferences that we have. There are a few things that we as Heartland Conference have to be concerned about. Issues of ordination, who's going to serve churches, what kind of educational requirements are we going to insist upon? We have many rural churches in the Heartland Conference. We're a little bit different than some of our other conferences. They're a little more urban. We have, and so we have many very capable bivocational folks. We have churches being served by people who may or may not be able to get a seminary degree. Now we're always going to need some elders and some folks that have got master's degrees and gone on to get doctoral work and so forth. That's very important. But we've got to figure out how we can continue to serve in the spirit of that early Wesleyan movement, when there were many excellent lay preachers, and when the work of ministry was thought to be everybody's work. And we've got to somehow recapture that. I don't know exactly all the solutions to that, but I know that needs to continue to be discussed and explored as we build this new denomination where we want to reach both urban churches as well as rural churches and places, places, urban places, as well as places like the Heartland Conference. I think I've had some experience serving in both of those kinds of settings, and I think I have some understanding. We have, for example, here at Claremore First, we have 8 people from our church in seminary currently who are planning to go on to serve in some way in the Global Methodist Church. Leadership development is something that we think is really important here in our local congregation. And so these issues of educational requirements and ordination requirements are very important to the denomination. They're very important to the Heartland Conference specifically. And we have a stake in it here, even in our local church. And so we've got to keep talking about those kinds of things. Missionally, I think we're still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to be in mission. Now, one of the reasons many of us in the global church are in the global church is we recognize that mission needs to start, right there at home, right in our backyard, right in the parish where you serve, where you live, where we live, right? And yet we want to be in service to God's people across the world. So we got to continue to figure out exactly how we're going to do that. It's super important. This is a good time to figure those things out. Our General Conference in Costa Rica was a wonderful beginning and a wonderful start. I mentioned just a minute ago that the spirit there was marvelous. It was so wonderful to see leaders of the church on their knees, some of them on their faces before the Lord, calling out to the Lord for guidance and direction as we begin this new thing. I love the slate of bishops that we have. They're doing a great job. We need to keep looking at leadership in the global church, super important. But beyond all the details, and there are definitely details that have to be worked out, we want to make sure that the Global Methodist Church remains a Christ-centered, Holy Spirit-focused, led by the Spirit movement, as not just a denomination, but a movement that God can use. I think we're off to a great start, and I'm praying that will just continue to grow.